get a job, or rather, get a good education, then get a job, and work that job until you've got enough years experience and enough years in that you can retire and take it easy the rest of your life. That's what my father told me when I was, oh, 18, 17 years old, something like that. Actually, think back on it, it was more just before I turned 16, because I remember I told him I was going to quit school, and he sat me down at the kitchen table one evening, and we had a long talk, and he convinced me that quitting school wasn't a very good idea, because he gave me a few examples of the kind of work I'd be able to get if I did quit school. And then, we talked a little bit about the kind of work he had and where he was in life. He spent most of his time, I remember watching him study, sit at the kitchen table and study. He took correspondence courses, and he studied those every night. He got these lessons through the mail. He studied them. He took the tests and sent the tests back in, and he did very well doing that. But his generation's philosophy when it come time to going to work for the next generation after them was to get that mainly a college education, and get a decent job based on that education, and then work that job forever. Now, a few years back, not too long ago, I seen that the concept these days seems to be get a job and work until you've got some experience, and then go look for another job, a step up from that, and continue, going, actually not keeping one job for all that long, and not until you retire, but over the course of your working lifetime, uh, having actually a number of different positions in the career that you choose, or that you've chosen. Well, a few years, I started out following my father's recommendation, advice, and I did graduated from high school, and I did get some college education, but I didn't finish it. I didn't get a degree, because somewhere along the line I come to understand that getting that formal education and working that job based on that education wasn't exactly, for me, the best way to go. And my father come to thinking that along there too, and he realized that he was not really, while he was building some of his dreams, he wasn't building his dreams to their full potential. More than that, he was building somebody else's dreams for them, because he was an employee and not a business owner. He come to think, understand that in order to really make your ultimate dreams come true, you've got to be working for yourself and not for somebody else. Uh, and he eventually actually got me to start thinking along those lines too. I had realized that there was something else besides working for somebody, being an employee. But I had a little trouble for some time there, figuring out exactly what I needed that to make that happen. Well, I started in business with Dad, and there were a few different things we talked about over the years, and I joined him in a few things, and there are a few things we talked about we never made happen. But in the long run, I did get that concept. I come to understand, for me, that it isn't the formal education. You know, Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living, but a self-education can make you a fortune. And I truly believe that that is the case for most people if they're willing to go after that self-education. But you know, all of life is an education, one way or another. So you continuously learn something. I mean, you're going to learn. Maybe one day it doesn't seem like much of a learning experience, but you're going to learn something probably every single day, something that you didn't know. You might see something that you kind of knew deep down, but maybe just didn't really hit you consciously, as suddenly maybe one incident might make that happen. But to work for somebody else, even if you keep changing jobs to get to better positions, there's always going to be a limit to where you're going to go. But if you go out and if you build a business, then there's not necessarily a limit. I mean, there can be a limit if you let that happen, but that's up to you. I mean, if you're serious about doing it, then go for it, and make sure that you keep at it, because eventually you can really make things happen for you, and get to the point where you really want to be in life. So yes, that education, that formal education, is good for certain reasons, but I think it more these days. I think it more makes a follower and not necessarily a leader. So you know, you need to get out on your own to be a leader. So what I'm saying is, it's fine to work for somebody all your life if that's what you want to do. But if you've got dreams beyond that, then the only way you're going to get those dreams, go after those dreams and achieve those dreams, is to get away from them being employed by others and create an environment where you are employed by yourself. And that's what I've got to say today. Have a good one.